Welcome to My Skeptical Sister.
I'm Megan, the skeptical one.
I'm Erin, the believer. It almost feels like a no school tomorrow day, but not quite.
Yeah, almost.
We got teacher conferences tomorrow, so we can't get too drunk and hungover.
I mean,
we could. There's no students.
There are no kids.
But I won't be.
If you're an art teacher and I'm a behavior coach,
yeah, nobody's going to conference
They
with
don't
us.
ever conference with us.
Unless I only get paid if I get a conference. So, somebody will conference with us and I will not be hungover.
So you have to wake up at around noon.
You have to be at school.
I know. Peel yourself up off the carpet at noon. And then I'm just kidding. I only did that once in my career. It was my very first year teaching. It was a lesson learned for sure.
Right. That's right. We got our celebratory podcast. What is it?
Post live show.
Post-show podcast pedicures. I was trying to really make it alliteration.
Yeah, well, whatever it was called. It was the funniest pedicure. When I think that I'm going to get bored with you. I'm like, I see, we had lunch out at Mom and Dad's.
Yeah.
At a picnic near Mom and Dad's. So we're together all day.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go get a pedicure, which I love a good pedicure, but I'm like, we've got to save ourselves for the episode tonight, but that's okay. It'll be fine. We'll just, be on our phones and play Facebook or whatever.
Play Facebook?
I don't know. Do Facebook.
How old are you?
Whatever it is you do. But anyway, nope. It was quite a fun time.
Yeah. I laughed so hard. All of my body hurt. Do you ever have that where it's like your sides hurt, your neck hurts because you're laughing so hard? I couldn't breathe.
Like my dimples, I felt like they were on fire because they hurt so bad.
We need to explain why. I had the sweetest little nail technician.
She was sweet. And for some reason, I think she felt like you needed extra assistance in life. I know. And it was she just kept helping you. So either that or she was just a very attentive, compassionate person.
Yeah. I tested the nail polish. This should have been my first sign. I tested the nail polish because that was between two colors. I put like a strip of each on my thumb as a test to see how I was going to like it. Which is something I do a lot. I don't really think you're supposed to do that, but I do it every time I get a pedicure.
Right.
And she asked me, which one are you going to get? And I said, yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one. And she then grabbed my thumb and scrubbed it off. So at first I thought, oh, maybe she's like offended that, don't leave with any nail polish that I didn't put on you. But nope, now I just think she thinks that just would have stayed on forever.
She's just taking extra good care of you. Because then the funniest part was Erin pulls up her pants and she gets them like above her knees because she can get that good massage.
That's right. And they're kind of tight around, I'm still in the skinny jean phase. That's right. I know they're not cool anymore, but that's what I'm wearing. Not.
When did that happen?
I don't know. They're not cool anymore, but I don't like baggy jeans. I'm too short to pull that look off.
I never liked the skinny jean phase, so I'm happy for it.
But back to being cool.
I was always cool. I just always did it. But anyway, so she's kind of got these like skin tight jeans.
They're not skin tight.
Around the ankle they are. So then once you pull them up over your calf,
they were very tight above my calf.
Tight. So then when the whole pedicure is done and it's time to go, instead of just letting Erin take care of herself and pull her own jeans down, this little tiniest
woman is tugging with all of her strength.
I mean, it was like she had to put one foot up and
so embarrassing. I'm like, let the whole place know I got big old calves.
Yes, and everybody was staring. I was dying.
It was hilarious.
Gosh.
She started laughing. We're all laughing.
Crying, but she never gave up.
I know.
It wasn't like she started laughing. That was like, oh my gosh, you're fine. That was silly. No, she was in it to win it. Like she re-braced herself.
Yeah. We got to the second leg and I'm trying to do it. I would get it, but I'm laughing so hard that I can't. I have no strength. I'm laughing so hard.
And the three of us were the only ones laughing. Like all of the other people around us were just like staring awkwardly at us. Like, what the hell is going on? Which just made me laugh harder because I'm like, do you all not find this funny? Like, it's okay to laugh at her right now. It is, yes, it's embarrassing, but she is laughing too. And
my gosh.
Hilarious. She's so tiny. She was just so tiny.
So tiny.
And just all of her might. Like you gave that woman a workout.
I know. I'm like, let me get the second leg. Let me get it. And she's batted my hands away. Like,
I know. She's like, no.
I got it. I'm like, lady, this is embarrassing. I got some big old calves and I'm okay with it.
Oh, heck yeah. But it was my gosh. It was the funniest pedicure I've ever had. like my sides hurt, my dimples hurt, everything hurt from laughing so hard. And then she's like, you're sitting there, just you have your purse in your hands. And you're like, okay, because my pedicure then started because I hadn't even gone yet. So you're just sitting there with your purse in your hands. But they said you could sit there. It was the weirdest thing. They told you could sit next to me and wait. So you're like, okay, great. So you're just you're comfortable.
Yeah.
But you got your purse. You're just kind of like holding it, like, but comfortably.
Yeah.
And she like comes out of nowhere and like grabs that purse out of your hands. Like, what the hell is she doing? And she puts it down on the floor like, no. Like, I'll take care of you. Yeah. You need that purse out of your hands.
Don't worry about it. I'm not rushing you out. I don't know if that's what she was trying to say. Like, I'm not making you leave. But I was fine. I had just reached down to get my purse so I could look through my phone. And she was like, no.
There will be none of that.
No, you need to really engage right here.
Yes, you be
young
present.
Lady.
You now that your calves are good and covered back up, squeeze like little sausages. Oh my gosh.
It was so bizarre. And I was like, I said to Megan, we cannot talk about this until tonight.
Which was like so hard to do because it was the funniest.
It was the weirdest thing I think I've ever been through.
Well, of course, I think that was just karma for you because we walk in to begin with and Erin goes straight for a wild color. She's like, ooh, it's Halloween. We should get wild colors. I'm going to get this iridescent, bright purple.
Dark purple,
spooky Halloween color. I was like, ooh, okay. Well, I have never done anything outside of the red, pink, and orange. You know, I stay within
coral.
those yes, coral, not even orange. Yeah, orange is too much. Coral, those three colors are kind of the range I always go to.
Same. I don't know what I was thinking with the purple.
So I was like, okay, you're going to go big. I'm going to go big. So then I go big and I grab the same color as a background of My Skeptical Sister because I thought, well, here we go. This will be like, it's in
blue toes.
It's an ode to our live show. So here we go. So I get these blue toes and the whole time I'm thinking this is going to be a mistake. Blue toes on other people who have nice, beautiful feet look really cool.
Yeah.
With my little short, tiny, pudgy little feet, it looks like I'm a corpse. It looks like
it does not. They're cute. But karma
they're cute
situation.
Because I went through with it. And then halfway through, as Erin's sitting down, she's like, I think I'm going to go with this color instead.
I know. I looked up and right behind her, I saw the most beautiful, like champagne, sparkly color.
Yeah. Not anywhere outside of your box.
It's so calm and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should go to a ball.
You should, and I should go into the ground because
you'll be my ugly stepsister.
Yeah. So then Karma said, oh no, Erin, we're going to make you embarrassed.
I will bring you down a peg.
Oh my gosh, it was great. It was a great time had by all except for the other people. We seemed annoying, but she had fun and we were cracking up.
Oh my gosh, it was hysterical.
And the language barrier's there, so I kept trying to listen to see the other person's reaction because afterwards she started talking really quickly.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, she's got to be saying something
like
hilarious.
Did you see the calves on that girl?
So I kept trying to watch the other lady's reaction and she never had one. I was like, oh, she's good. She's good because there was some conversation there.
Oh my gosh.
It was funny.
I had tears streaming. It was great. Oh my gosh.
I hope we did it a little bit of justice painting that picture because it was beautiful. It was a great comedic moment. Okay, so question for you.
Okay.
What does the song Who Let the Dogs Out mean?
Okay. I heard,
in
fact, it's why it makes it one of my favorite songs.
Okay.
Is that it's about men catcalling women. And it's like everybody was having a good time. Mm-hmm. And then these dogs entered the party.
Like the dogs are a group of men.
Who let these dogs out? We were having a great time. Exactly.
Okay. Because recently, a friend of mine from high school, I guess that's when that song was released.
Yeah.
What year was that song released? I remember it being at school dances and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I feel like it was out in middle school when
Yeah. And I never questioned it. Yeah. I never thought, why is there a song about dog catchers? Like, why is there... It never dawned on me to think that this was a strange song. Right. And what was the meaning behind it?
I do think a dog movie came out soon after and they put it in it too.
So then it was just probably that's what just made sense in my mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because recently he posted this meme that said, I was 40 something years old when I found out that Who Let the Dogs Out was a song about ugly women
No.
in a club. And
No
I was
way.
like, no, I've been singing that song.
I do not believe that. I refuse to believe that about my Baha Men.
Okay, well, let's look up the Baha Men. So I have the lyrics pulled up. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, now I'm going to spare you all of the Who Let the Dogs Out. Who.
Are you going to?
Who? Because we'd be here all night because they like to repeat those two lines over and over and over and over again.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to read the meat of it.
Okay, so you're going to try to argue that it's about the...
No, I'm not arguing. I really just want to find out. I feel like if we
Okay.
can read the lyrics, we can kind of dissect it ourselves and find out.
I'm really hoping
that you're right.
That I'm right.
I'm hoping you're right too. That would make me like them as well. Okay. Well, the party was nice. The party was pumping.
Nice.
Okay? So,
Yippee-yi-yay.
Yippee-yi-yay. Look at her. And everybody having a ball. Yippee-yi-yay. Oh, no. Yippee-yi-yo.
Oh, get that right. You better get it right or pay the price.
That's right. It says, I tell the fellas, start the name calling. I think you might be right. And it's supposed to say, until the fellas start the name calling.
Yes. See?
Right, like, everything's good. Party's going great until the fellas start the name calling. Yippee-yi-yo. And the girls respond to the call. I heard a woman shout out, who let the dogs out?
Mm-hmm.
I think this part's important. Who?
You
who
said
let
you
the dogs out? Yeah, but it goes right with that line.
Uh-huh.
Now that repeats a couple more times. I see the dance people had a ball.
Okay.
C-O-Z.
Yeah.
Cause she really want to skip town. Don't know what that's about.
Okay.
Get back, Gruffy. Back,
no.
Scruffy.
You're doing that wrong. Get back, Gruffy. Get back, Scruffy.
Oh my gosh. It's like being right back in the gym.
Right?
Okay. Get back, you flea-infested mongrel.
Oh my gosh. Now that is too cruel if that's about a woman.
Yeah.
And the woman is the one who started calling it. Normally, girls are nicer than that. So.
Very true. Very true. Gonna tell myself, hey man, no get angry. Oh, so he's like, good self-talk.
Yeah, don't get angry.
Okay, look, these other guys are really getting me going, but don't get angry. Yippee-yi-yo. To any girls calling them canine. Oh, but wait, to any girls calling them canine. So gonna tell myself, hey man, no get angry to any girls calling them canine. So all of a sudden he's like getting mad at the girls who are calling them dogs.
Okay, hold on. Don't get angry.
This is important.
Don't get angry about this general situation. To all those girls calling them canine. Now
yippee-yi-yo.
All right, do it. Get it, girls. So that's right. They're dogs.
So yippee-yi-yo must mean like, yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
So you call them canines, I'm right there with you. Okay. But they tell me, hey man, it's part of the party.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he's mad.
Oh, no, maybe the men are like, hey, it's part of the party.
Okay. But
we're supposed to be assholes.
Yeah, okay. Yippee. But then he says yippee-yi-yo. Okay.
Maybe that's just a filler in the song.
No. Okay. You put a woman in front and her man behind.
Oh.
I heard.
Well, now I'm kind of getting back into the song for a new reason.
Right. You put a woman in front of what? And her man behind? In front of you and her woman behind.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just I'm really trying to figure out what he means by this.
This is why people are here.
This is important business. I heard woman shout out, who let the dogs out? And then you know the rest.
Who?
And then, of course, who let the dogs out? And then it goes on. Well, if I'm a dog, the party is on. So see, where's he going with this?
Maybe he's not all men. Oh, come on, Baha Men. We know it's not all men. But it's enough men.
It's a lot of them.
No, we know it's not all men.
If I'm a dog, so he flipped here. Here's what so imagine him in this club, he's having a good time, everything's going great. This group of like mean men come in and they start like catcalling these ladies and groping them, doing stuff they're not supposed to. That's ticking him off. So he's at first on the girl's side, but then the girls get so angry. They like, just you all suck. All men as dogs.
Right.
And so he's like, well, if I'm a dog, then let's party.
No, that's not. There isn't a party.
Well, if I am a dog, the party is on.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So at one point he's like, fine. I accept it. Let's all get over it. We're all dogs.
Is it legal that we're reading all of the lyrics on this?
I'll leave the last. The last three.
We have barely said any who's.
I'll read the last 3 segments out that are all who let the dog out. Who.
You're going to leave them all out.
I'm going to leave all that out. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So he really he evolved throughout that entire song.
Oh my gosh.
Like from somebody that was like, you're glad to have them on their side, to then all of a sudden it was like mob mentality took over and he switched sides halfway through that song.
Yeah. I feel like it is. I feel like Baha Men got a little bit like, oh, we're going to make this song about this. And then they just went wild. They're like, nobody is going to listen past that first Who Let the Dogs Out.
Yeah. So I think the only way to get to the bottom of this is to introduce our guest tonight, Baha Men.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
And they come in and they're like singing this. Oh, that'd be so fun.
Oh my gosh. That would be great to have them sitting here. I'd love their accents. I'd like to get down to the bottom of it.
That's right.
Yeah. Like if anybody knows the Baha Men and they're interested in being on a paranormal podcast to explain their lyrics.
I bet there are some skeptics and believers within the Baha
I bet
Men
so too.
group.
Yeah. That would be the most fun episode.
Oh my gosh.
We're
That'd
on
be amazing.
something.
What are they doing right now? I bet they have time.
Right.
You just said who, and then you left it at that.
Let the dogs out. I don't know.
Yeah, let's bring them. I'm invited.
Let those dogs out.
I'm inviting the pit bulls in.
Full consent to let those dogs in.
Well, now that we've dissected Who Let the Dogs Out.
Yeah, now that we got the important business out of the way.
Yeah, now I think we're ready.
On to our onto the real stuff, the ghosts.
Okay. Am I starting this week?
Get it? I laughed because that's not the real stuff.
Okay, so I am going to read a story by Heather. The subject is Badass Grandma.
Nice.
Hi, guys. I just have to say, even though I'm only on episode 18, this is my new favorite show.
Oh, how nice is that?
I know. You keep me laughing and keep my mind off of everything I have going on, so thanks for that. I have a couple of different stories I could tell, but the one I want to start with is about my grandma. Sorry, it's kind of long, and it's going to take a bit to get to the supernatural stuff, but I think it's worth it. A little bit of background. My mom wasn't what you would call a good mother, putting it nicely. So I moved in with my grandma when I was 16. She was the one I could talk to about anything and half raised me even before I moved in. We lived in middle Georgia, but she was not your typical sweet Southern grandma. And then she puts the laughing emoji.
Yeah.
Followed by, yes, I'm old and still use a laughing emoji along with the side part. I did not know
Heather,
that the laughing emoji, that makes you old. I use
that
constantly.
we've talked about that.
What? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, apparently
it's my favorite emoji.
Yes, and apparently these millennials have tried to come along and say, not even millennials. I'm sorry. Now these what?
Gen Xers.
These Gen Xers have come along and they've dictated our hairstyles.
I know the hair. I guess
and our emoji use.
Yeah.
Look, we didn't even have emojis when we were your age. We had to literally cry tears
They're
of
all
laughter.
new and cool.
We would have to walk up to you and show you actual laughing tears when we thought something was that funny.
I think that's why I like the laughing one so much, because it really does look like somebody just losing their shit laughing.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, the little emojis, I love them. They're like that one with the eyes wide open. Like,
oh, yeah.
Holy shit. I use that one constantly.
I do too. I also use the one, I don't know if I use it right, but the one where it's like teeth are bare.
Yeah, like, here
good.
we go.
That's what I always use it for. Like,
yes.
Oh, I hope this is okay.
Right. This is awkward. Yes. See, I mean, I can use whatever emoji I want to use.
That's right, Heather. Join us. Feel comfortable in your laughing emoji and
Bring
your side part, because I do not look right with the middle part.
Yes, and I love a good side part.
Plus, I know I talked about Ted Lasso the other day, but the boss lady, I know you don't watch it, but the boss lady on Ted Lasso, her side part is so far, and I want her hair every day of my life. When I turn gray, cute. I only want her hair.
Nice. I'm going to have to look it up.
It is so cute. And even when she wears it in a different way, it's always side-parted, like extreme. Everyone in town knew her, and they all loved her craziness. She was one of those that you never knew what was going to come out of her mouth, and it was usually something that was going to have you cry laughing. She was the cool grandma that told dirty jokes and didn't care what anyone thought of her.
She was like our grandma.
I know. If you needed something done that you didn't know how to do, flooring, fixing appliances, sewing, cooking, etc., she was the one you called. There were times that I would walk in on her doing some crazy new thing to her house and wonder how she got her superpowers.
Aww.
She was an independent, motorcycle riding, foul-mouthed, tough-skinned, take no shit, fix it queen.
Yes.
She was a, in all caps, badass.
Yes.
In 2018, she was diagnosed with kidney cancer. It was a non-aggressive cancer that didn't require surgery, and the doctors were sure it could be dealt with just some chemo. She didn't seem worried, so I tried not to stress about it. She went to her appointments and still stayed in the streets, going God knows where, and probably doing things she shouldn't have been doing.
But good for her.
Right.
I mean, keep living life.
Yeah.
Right.
Forever.
Yeah.
As long as you got. 6 months later, she was in remission. Skip ahead to November 2019. She ended up in the hospital with pneumonia. I can't tell you how many phone calls we got from nurses and doctors because she was raising hell about having to stay there.
I love it.
I had to spend the night with her so she didn't get out of control.
Oh, wow.
I know. They finally had enough of her, and she was discharged after a couple of days.
Wow.
We made it through Thanksgiving, and then once again, she was in the hospital with pneumonia. She went to a different one this time because the other one was so incompetent, I'm surprised I lived.
Oh, my gosh.
According to Grandma. She stayed for 2 days and was sent home with meds, all good. Christmas and New Year's comes and goes. Beginning of February, back in the hospital, we found out later that the cancer was back and had spread, but she didn't want anyone to know.
Oh.
At this point, it's affecting her mentally and physically. One day, I get a phone call from an EMT saying she had wrecked. She was in a ditch and had run over a stop sign.
Oh, no.
That wasn't the only time she had gotten herself in a mess driving, so we had to make the decision to take her license. She was not happy.
Oh, I bet she wasn't. You remember that Grandma Rose? Our grandmother, she was pissed off.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it wasn't great, even though she should have never had her license.
She should have never, even from age 16, she should have never.
She drove with both feet.
Yes.
She did not drive a stick shift. She just, one foot was for brake, one was for gas. That woman.
Oh, she definitely should have. And I feel like her seats, she wasn't an extremely short woman, but she was always so low. Even as a younger grandmother, it was like all of a sudden she got into any car, and every car she had was 3 sizes too big for this woman.
Yeah, it was huge.
And she'd get in and she was so little. Oh my gosh. Driving with both feet. She never put gas in the car. She'd always run out of gas.
Yeah, she'd put $1 in.
Oh man.
And then she taught our aunt, who was a lot younger than our mom, she taught her how to drive. And her husband was like, "You can't drive with 2 feet." And she said, "I told you, my mom taught me that way." Oh my gosh.
It's great.
She should not have ever been behind the wheel.
No, never. Now, this badass grandma.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell her no.
Hell no.
So good luck, Heather. March 2020 is when she started going downhill fast. Of course, we all know that's when COVID was so bad that we had to shut down. I was probably the only one who was happy to quarantine because it meant I could be home to take care of her.
Oh.
She refused to stay in the hospital or assisted living, so she moved in with me and my husband. At this point, she can't stand, much less walk on her own, so I get her a wheelchair. Her mind was going, and she talked some crazy stuff. She wasn't eating and was only drinking a little. May 23rd, 2020 was the day she left me. It was 2 days before my birthday. I knew it was coming, and it still shattered me. I know, so sad. We're so sorry about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's so, when you have somebody in your world that is larger than life.
Yeah.
And then to watch that deteriorate in front of you is just tragic. That's awful.
Exactly.
So sorry.
Fast forward to the next week and I'm having a really rough day. I'm lying in bed crying and I feel 2 taps on my forearm. When I was younger, this was her way of getting my attention. She would take 2 fingers and tap me on my arm. I immediately jumped up because I'm the only one home. I look outside and sure enough, the only car in the yard is mine, but there is a deer staring at me. I ignore it and call my husband to tell him what happened and ask when he and my daughter were coming home. Of course, he's a complete skeptic like Megan. So he just says I imagined it, but I can still feel the exact spot on my arm where it happened. It's like an electric charge or something, just tingling in that one spot. The next day, I'm watching TV and I get this weird feeling that I need to look outside. I peek through the blinds and there's a deer standing there staring at me again. We live close to the woods, so it's not uncommon to see them, but it was just weird. A couple of days go by and I have to go into work for a few hours. I walk out to go to my car and once again, there's a deer standing there.
What? She's at work now? She's
on her way to work.
Okay, so she's leaving her house to go to work. So, now that is weird. This deer is following you. Whether it's paranormal or not, stalker.
Doesn't move at all. Just watches me get in my car and drive off. Now I'm starting to feel like maybe it's not just a coincidence, but it's not a scary feeling. It's almost peaceful. The next week, I go out to her grave to put out fresh flowers. I break down in tears because I just miss her so much. Out loud, I say, "I miss you." From the corner of my eye, I see something move. At that exact time I say those words, a deer walks out from the tree line, and we just stare at each other for what seems like hours before it finally turns around and goes back into the trees. So now it is a different location.
Oh my goodness.
I still see deer all the time, although I don't have any other specific encounters. It's been a year and a half, and I still miss her like crazy. I dream about her often. For a palate cleanser, after all that, I need to tell you a couple of the things she would say as her mind was starting to go.
Oh.
She tried to get me and my 2 sisters to go up to the square in town and steal the statue because he's so handsome.
I love it. What was she going to do with that statue?
I don't know, but I wouldn't stop her. I was accused of being a witch because I stole her hair and then put it back when she wasn't looking.
Oh, like her wig, maybe?
I don't know.
Oh,
maybe.
That's funny.
And the best one, a sister and I were sitting on the bed talking with her when she all of a sudden says that she needs her bag of dicks. A few days after she passed, my husband actually found a bag that had 2 dildos in it.
She knew what she needed.
Right.
She found that statue and that bag.
That's right. It's not a random thought on either account.
Oh my gosh, that made my face get so red. That is hilarious.
So she ends up with saying, he found her bag of dicks. 2 laughing faces. Thanks for taking the time to read, and even more so if you read it on the podcast. I'm a surgical technician in the operating room, so I have a few creepy stories also. Ooh. If you need some more stories to read.
Definitely, we do.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I love that story.
I know.
I love that story for so many reasons. I mean, the most obvious is because it reminds me so much of Grandma Rosie.
Right.
But it was beautifully written, and just you can feel the love for this woman, and what a badass.
I know.
Like, you think of grannies.
Right.
You picture them in your mind. But these women,
I never picture a bag of dicks.
I know. I mean, sometimes.
I mean, maybe now I will.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I thought maybe like, because I know he's canceled, but Louis C.K. does a whole thing about a bag of dicks, and I thought maybe she had just seen that, but that's hilarious. No, she's
like, no, I don't know why y'all are laughing right now.
No, this is not about a comedy routine. I need my bag of dicks. They're somewhere around here. Oh no, I was just thinking, you when you picture a granny in your mind, you have an idea of this older lady, whatever it is, certain type of hair, certain type of clothes, but they lived full, amazing lives before they became grannies. Like someday we're going to be grannies.
Right.
And, that history. And I love the fact that she was like a motorcycle riding. Like you don't think of when they get older, they're going to be grannies.
Right.
And
but she sounds like this badass grandma did it up
all
until
the way to the end.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love that and admire that. And I think that is awesome. So as much as I love that story though, I'm not touching it. It's too beautiful. It's a beautiful story. I think now I did think this though. I'm not going to debunk it. The feeling you had on the arm was a needed moment that you needed to have. I'm glad it brought you peace and comfort. And who am I to say that it wasn't anything of what you think it is, So I'm not going to go there. But what, and I don't know, and I hope this doesn't offend, but what about reincarnation? What if Grandma really came back as that deer?
That would be a really fast reincarnation.
Well,
how old was the deer?
I
feel like it was like a week later.
Okay.
Unless it was a baby deer.
Yeah, I don't know. She didn't specify. But that's what, I mean, I don't know. What other, it wasn't a ghost deer. Like, what do you think about that? So was it just like her spirit was making this deer show up so that she could feel some peace?
Or I feel like maybe, I mean, I don't know how it works, but maybe they can just say, I want to visit. So
she takes kind of like in the movie Ghost.
Yeah.
So instead of Whoopi Goldberg, she goes into a deer's body.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting.
Because Whoopi was busy.
Yeah. Whoopi was, she was busy doing whatever on The View. Weird. It's so weird.
Right. That would be so much better if she just opened herself to visits all the time.
Whoopi Goldberg?
If Whoopi Goldberg was like, I don't want to be on The View, but if your loved one passes and
yes,
to talk through me,
back to that character,
I'm available.
I was like, that would be really weird. Why would Whoopi Goldberg want people visiting her?
No.
But you meant her character.
In
the
afterlife visiting Whoopi.
Yes, definitely. But Yeah, I don't know. I thought that part was really like, this deer keeps coming around.
Yeah.
What do we think about reincarnation? I have no idea. I think it's a very interesting thing to think about, and how lovely would it be to come back as a deer?
Yeah. There was a really cool video going around a while back. I don't know when I saw it, but it was these two older sisters, and their mother had just passed, and their mother had loved cardinals and said, if I ever come visit you, I'm going to visit you as a cardinal. Like, she said that before she died.
Okay.
And then right after she died, this cardinal came and wouldn't leave them. It like landed on them.
Oh my gosh.
And then they were like, there's a part where they're like, well, they're crying and they're like, bye mom, we love you, and they try to send her off. And it comes right back. It was like, wasn't ready to leave. Isn't that weird?
That is. It is. Well, and that's where I'm like, I don't know how reincarnation works.
Yeah.
What if there's like a little cardinal or a little deer or a grown-up deer or a grown-up cardinal? I don't know what
butterfly,
I don't know
or
what
all
stage
those
of life they have to be, but they don't have a spirit.
Yeah.
They just are. And then a spirit. Now this is starting to get a little far-fetched, even though I'm the one coming up with it. As I'm saying, I'm like, if you were to tell me this, I'd be like, that is bullshit. But I'm going to the realm of like, it'd be fun to think about that could actually happen.
Yeah.
That your spirit could leave and you could find something that you want your spirit to be embodied by. Yeah. Like a deer or a cardinal.
I'm trying so hard not to talk about Twilight right now, but this was very Twilight-y.
This is not. This is not Twilight-y.
Okay. All right. Taki.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
I've never seen Twilight.
There's a whole part. Well, only if you read the books would you know this part.
Okay.
But no, anyways, I don't know. You always talk about how you do believe in energy. So maybe that energy just moved into something else temporarily, while it was still felt like needed. Like, it was like, they're going to have a hard time without me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here for this transitional time. I'm going to put my energy into something else.
And you could actually pick what you do.
I don't know. I haven't been there yet, as far as I know.
Well, let me know. Come back as I would like. I would like you to come back as a hedgehog. I think they're so cute.
Okay, I will come back as a hedgehog. What are you going to come back as? Do I need to tell you?
Oh my gosh, I'd be like a crotchety old what?
Ew, please don't come at me with your crotch. I'm just kidding.
I'm just
kidding. I know.
Expose my crotch. I said I would be a really weird thing to want to do after death. All I want to do is, I want to come back as cardinal. All I want to do is show off my crotch.
Okay. You can come to me as a raccoon.
Oh, raccoons are so cute.
Yeah, raccoons are cute.
Oh, okay.
And I never see them around here, but I know that they are local, so it's feasible.
Okay, that would be, yes. And I feel like if I saw a hedgehog the day after you died, I would be like, well, now I'm a believer. Like, that's what it took, because I've never in my entire life seen a hedgehog, not even captive. Like, I've never seen one. So if the day after you die.
I've seen one. I was scared to death of it.
Why? They're so cute.
I know, but it was like hissing. Oh. Dion was scared of it. Christine tried to give me hedgehogs once.
Oh, I do remember that you almost got one.
Dion had huge gloves, like snow gloves, and
Dion had huge hedgehogs.
He still was like, I'm not touching him. Dion's like a big man, like he could handle just about anything, and he was like, oh no, I'm not getting near that hedgehog.
Why did they even have them to begin with?
Oh, it was a long story. Her tech at work was moving and couldn't keep him. Turns out to be a really sad story, because she had him in a Tupperware thing out in her car when she was trying to when she was trying to get rid of him. And then I saw him. I was like, listen, they're hissing and they're kind of scary, and I don't think I'm ready for this. We had just moved to Louisville, and I was like, too much going on. I was pregnant. I was like, no.
Do you have any fancy hamsters back there?
Yeah, you got any huge hamsters that could pass as rats? No, I'm going to pass on.
That's more my jam, so I'm just going to pass on those hamsters or those hedgehogs.
Right. Well,
what happened to these poor hedgehogs?
She put them back in her car, and then it got hot that day, and they died.
Did she not think of that?
I don't think she thought it was going to get that hot.
Christine.
It's not Christine. It was the tech.
Oh,
the tech did it.
Who they belong to?
Yeah, she killed him. But then you feel that guilt. 'Cause I'm like, if I had taken them, they would be alive.
Oh my gosh,
Erin. But it's not on me, because they were scary hedgehogs.
Okay, I'm gonna change it. I don't want you to be a hedgehog. No, you can't. Never mind. Because I will make sure the hedgehogs don't die.
I won't hiss at you.
Okay. Well, yeah, you might.
I might. You might. Come in with your crotch. I'm gonna guess.
Fair enough. I feel like that's very fair. Oh, goodness. I don't know how we got on that. I mean, I never thought that wonderful story. The whole time you were reading, I was like, this might be one of my favorite stories. I did not see it going down hedgehogs and crotches.
Or crotch.
Yeah, but there you go. Okay.
Yeah, so sorry, Heather.
Yes. Boy.
But I bet Badass Grandma would have been cracking up at this
She would have laughed.
conversation.
That is very true. And, that's just the risk you take writing into us. You never know where it's going to end up.
That's true.
So our little story about our grandmother being feisty as all get out is that she kind of loved to make the room feel a little awkward. So at Thanksgiving, we had a blended side of our families. We had my dad's side that's a little bit more conservative and my mom's side that is definitely not conservative.
Not conservative.
At all. And so I'm sitting there next to my grandmother with my cousin Stevie, and she's sitting next to us, and she's like, because she's sitting, I know she knows that she was doing this. She was sitting right next to our really conservative aunt on my dad's side. She's like, I really wish I had gotten that little tattoo that I always wanted. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you're saying this right now. And she's like, and she's like looking right at our aunt. She's like, just, a little rose right here on my breast. There was no reason for this woman to be talking about this. And like instantly I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And she's like, I always wanted that, or a big anaconda that wrapped all the way around and its head came out right here.
Between her boobs.
Right between her boobs. Oh my gosh. And my cousins, like, we're like spitting our food out. And my conservative is just like, oh, like didn't even know what to say. Oh, it was great. Yeah.
It was hilarious.
So cheers to badass grandmas.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's see how our friend Elizabeth fares.
Okay.
Who knows where her story is going to take us. Okay, so I felt really bad because I don't really know how DMs work. I'm just learning that people can slide into them and then slide out of them and then slide sideways. What's going on?
I don't know. There's so many words. The word slide.
Slide into my DM. I can't ever get over it. I shared this with our new custodian at work. He's like, I shared our podcast with him because, he's got his earbuds in. And he laughed at one point. I was like, are you listening to a podcast? He was like, no, it's just music. I don't know what he was laughing at. Anyway.
Ooh.
Exactly. Oh, so I got him hooked onto it because, of course, then he felt like he had to listen.
Well, sure.
I'm in there working. And
that's why all my friends listen out of guilt.
Exactly. But then he kept coming back and I could hear him laughing audibly. And then he came back and he said, Miss Mattingly, you didn't know what slide into the DM meant? And I was like, no, wait, do you really mean like slide into a DM? Because I feel like there's still something like
double entendre.
Exactly. What a beautiful word.
Thank you.
Yes. And I was like, I feel like there's a different meaning. He's like, no, it literally means like you direct message me. And I was like, well, yes, I know that now, Quantez. But what I'm saying is I didn't, it sounds dirty, doesn't it? And he's like, only if your mind is dirty. So anyway.
Hey.
I know. So, but he laughed. He just kind of shook his head like, oh, Miss Mattingly. So, he's like some young 20-year-old, some the guy. He's got to listen to this and think that I'm the like most ridiculous person ever. But anyway, that's what that made me think of.
Because you have a DM here.
Because I got a DM. Because I don't know how they work. So what happened was I have all my regular DMs. And then I kept seeing that there was like, up by my little circle picture, there was like a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But I thought, well, it's just not clearing out my messages.
Yeah, no. Somebody requested.
Yeah, I figured that out. Because just the other day when I was like bored and had nothing to do, I was like, well, I need to make that go away. I've checked all my messages. How do I make that go away? So I like started Googling it because that's when you're old and you don't want to ask somebody because you feel stupid all the time. You go to Google. Oh, God love Google. Non-judgmental.
Yeah, we're not sponsored.
Just tells you how it is.
I'd love it if Google would sponsor us.
Could you imagine? We'd blow up. We'd have so much money. But that's not going to happen. They don't need us. Why? Yeah. Because they're so good at what they do. They're
like, y'all don't even know what sliding into DM is.
Exactly. You don't know how Google works. So why would we? Anyway. But I do know how Google works because I asked. And it told me that I had a hidden message somewhere, like a message request. So I clicked on my little circle and then here's this beautiful message. So I feel so bad because this was submitted back when we asked for spooky kid stories.
Oh, okay.
But it's just a good ghost story. It's not like it's long.
Okay.
It's got good substance and it's not just like a one and done line that her kid said. So
okay, nice.
Hi, I saw your post looking for creepy kid stories. This story centers around my son and my best friend, Tim. He had kind of held my hand throughout my entire pregnancy and had even offered at one point to be the baby's father because he knew that my boyfriend at the time, and then in parentheses, also his best friend.
Oh.
Yeah, no, this is deep. Was not likely to be a good dad.
Oh.
Right? He bought baby clothes and supplies and was so supportive throughout the whole pregnancy, and I knew he was going to be a fantastic uncle.
Oh,
sweet is that? I know.
That's so sweet.
I teased him all the time, calling him Timmy. Nobody else called him that, and I even said that we would refer to him as Uncle Timmy. Not long after I gave birth, Tim died out of state in an awful motorcycle accident.
Oh.
He never got to meet my baby boy. Cut to almost 3 years later, I now have a toddler. My son randomly started talking about having an imaginary friend. He would laugh and play in his room with his friend for hours, giggling and having so much fun. When I asked him what his friend's name was, he told me Timmy.
Oh, wow.
Right? It really caught me off guard, but I was willing to assume it was just a strange coincidence and somewhat let it go. Not long after that, my son had just graduated from the crib to a Winnie the Pooh toddler bed, so he would move freely if he wanted to. Oh, God love her. I'm almost at that stage. I'm like, no. She, again, doesn't seem bothered by it. So she seems like a great mama that is like, this is just natural. Why fight it?
It's natural, but
it's natural, but
so are demons. No,
they're not.
So are alligators.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
So he could move freely if he wanted to, but it really wasn't an issue, surprisingly. No. LOL.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? One night, he had been sleeping for a while when all of a sudden he came into my bedroom. It was late, middle of the night. Oh my gosh, this is so creepy, Erin.
Okay.
But I was still awake, struggling with my insomnia and reading a book. He climbed into bed with me like it was no big deal and snuggled up to me. When I asked him why he was out of bed, he said that Timmy told me he had to be with me. When I asked why did Timmy say that? He said, Timmy said you're going to die.
Oh, no.
Could you imagine somebody telling you, a little baby, toddler?
No. Oh, no.
I know. That was my exact reaction out loud when I read this. I was like, oh, no. At that point in his little life, die was not a word that we ever used or that he should have been aware of. To say the absolute least, it scared the ever-loving shit out of me.
I bet.
Oh, definitely. I tried to ask him more questions, what few words I could manage to squeak out, but he would never give me more information than that. The entire time he was in bed with me and throughout this conversation, he would continue to glance behind him in the corner of the room and nod his head like he was listening to somebody. Right?
Ooh, oh my gosh, I hate that.
For a long time, we just laid there in silence while I tried not to have a panic attack. Oh, it's so scary. I mean, I just imagine that, like laying there like, what the fuck is happening right now?
And you have to be the adult.
I am the adult. I have nobody else here to like, oh, God love her. After about 20 minutes, he suddenly jerked his head over towards that corner and said, okay, and then hopped out of bed.
No.
I know. She said, exactly. She said, I reached for him and said, hey, where are you going? Don't you have to stay with mommy?
Yeah, because now I'm scared to death.
That's exactly what she said. She said, because let's be honest, I am the adult here, but I was also terrified in that moment and I didn't want to be alone.
Absolutely.
LOL. He glanced over his shoulder and said, Timmy says you're okay now. Right?
What was going to happen?
I don't know. And then he marched right back to his bedroom, climbed into his bed, and went back to sleep.
Oh my gosh. Put in the movie Elf. That is my go-to anytime I'm too scared. Just put in the movie Elf.
And forget it all ever happened.
Yeah.
Until you're like, oh, this podcast needs a good scary story. Let me go back and reminisce it, even though I don't want to.
And then I'll re-put Elf on.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That is so crazy. That is so scary.
I didn't sleep at all that night. And in fact, I made my ex stay on the phone with me for a couple of hours because he was the only person in that moment that I knew would understand and not think that I was full of shit. And also be awake at that hour. The next morning, my son had no recollection of the night before. He never talked about Timmy again. He would acknowledge Timmy's existence for a short while when asked and would just say he went away. But then, soon after, he claimed to have no recollection of him at all. To this day, he remembers nothing. I don't know if it was really my friend coming through or if I was really potentially about to have some kind of health crisis that he saved me from, but I definitely will never forget that night.
Oh my gosh.
I know. That's like jaw dropping, like, what was going to happen.
I know. I want to discuss this. Did he turn on the light when he got in bed with her?
She was reading. She
Okay.
was in bed, silent, like just like in bed reading, and the baby's supposed to be asleep.
You want me to get real?
Yeah. What do you
real
think?
Scary?
Yeah.
Like intruder scary.
Okay.
What if somebody was like up to no good, peeping through windows, and would have done something, but then was like, "Oh, there's a kid there. I'm not going to do anything."
Ugh. Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like
what medically could have happened.
medically could have happened that a little boy being right there would have stopped happening.
Right. Unless she had some interesting sleep condition.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unless she fell asleep
and
or choked on her wine or something.
I don't know.
I don't know, because I would just imagine I would have a glass of wine reading in bed. Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, is that somebody would have been looking through windows and been like, "Oh, I'm not going
to." I don't know. And then
that's so scary.
Yeah, it's so scary. And I'm so glad that I have created within this podcast the out of not debunking stories that are very sentimental, because I don't know how to do that with this one.
Yeah. The whole talking to somebody in the corner and like silently even. So it's almost as if he's saying, your mom's scared, so don't talk to me right now. It's okay.
Just keep talking to her. Keep talking to her. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that gives me chills. Ooh, I think
know.
That might be the creepiest one we've ever read.
Isn't it? And then he said, okay. Like he was talking to somebody and then gets out of bed. And she's like, whoa, where are you going?
Oh, I'd be like, I'm sorry. At this point, you must stay.
Yeah, no, I don't care what Timmy says.
Right.
I am your mother. You will stay in this bed.
Timmy, stay out of this.
Get away here. Yeah. So coincidence for sure. Like about a week ago.
Sure.
Before I read this story, before I knew that this was a story I was going to read tonight.
Okay.
A colleague of mine was like, oh my gosh, your podcast is all about paranormal stuff. This is my paranormal story. She said that her, I believe it was like her grandfather. And it was like in passing in the hallway very quickly. So she's kind of telling me very briefly. So if I get the name wrong, we're going to get to hear it here in this little video, because she sends me the video because it was so striking. She took video of it and then saved it.
Okay.
So her little boy is in the bathtub, has never met his grandfather, but his grandfather's name, I believe, is Pete. And she said she started noticing that he kept looking up and like laughing in the corner, like something was there. And she kept looking up there like it's a wall. It's, the ceiling. There's nothing funny up there.
Right.
And he just keeps laughing as if somebody's like talking and joking with him. So she asks him who he's talking to. And he says Pete, like the grandpa's name, who died right before he was born.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So I want you to see this video.
Oh, he's so cute.
I know.
Yeah, you're in a bath.
Pete bath? Hey, Pete.
There, Pete, are you handing him a drink?
Oh my goodness.
What? Drink up. You telling him to drink up?
He is really looking in that corner.
Yeah. Pete.
Oh my gosh.
And he takes a cup and tries to give Pete a drink. He like holds it up to the corner and says, "Here, Pete, drink up."
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that wild?
That is really wild.
So, of course, I think that's just coincidence. Like, I think maybe he keeps hearing them talk about Pete around the house, and Pete is a loved person in their family. So it's kind of like he's picked up on that name, and then he names his imaginary friend Pete. That's where my mind goes for that.
I don't know.
I don't know. And it could be kind of similar. It could be that like Timmy, she maybe, while he did never meet him, maybe she talked about him a lot. And so that name, that name is special.
Yeah.
So maybe he kind of latched on to that name for imaginary friends. But regardless, if any child comes into me and tells me that I'm going to die, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Like,
you're grounded.
You're grounded. Immediately grounded. But first tell me how, why, and
right.
when.
When?
Like now? When, like give me specifics. And then you're grounded.
Ooh, that is so creepy.
Yes. And so sorry for your loss. He sounded like an amazing person, an amazing rock and friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, hopefully you know what? I mean, even okay. So let's go into the believer realm.
Okay.
Like, let's say it was true, and Timmy sent him in there for whatever reason, an intruder, sleep something, or whatever it was. How much comfort is that? Like, you can find so much comfort in knowing that you had Timmy,
Yeah.
who was still looking out for
And
you,
still loving your kid the way they wanted to
yes,
in
yeah,
life.
exactly. That's beautiful. So I'm not going to debunk it, other than it might have been an imaginary friend with the name Timmy that you.
So you're going to totally debunk it. But no way. He's standing in the corner talking. No. Nope.
Right.
I think there's a bad person out there
Something.
who is bad to women, but not to kids.
Ooh, that's creepy. That
I know.
is so creepy.
I
So
know.
glad you're safe.
Yeah.
And what a good story.
And like get some blinds.
Yeah.
Not to victim blame, but
well, and also I don't know. She didn't say she didn't have blinds.
I
you
don't
don't
think
know.
she did.
In your mind, she didn't. But yeah, thanks for that. A great story. I'm so glad I learned how to slide into DMs, my own, so that I could
slide into my own DMs.
I'm glad.
Hey, girl, sometimes you gotta take care of
Sometimes
yourself.
you got to slide into your own DM and take care of business. So I'm glad that I figured that part out. Sorry, Elizabeth.
Oh boy, yeah, those were great stories. Both of them were with two fantastic people.
Yeah.
On the other side now.
That's right. Okay.
All right.
Got a fan favorite?
I do. I have a fan favorite. Okay, so this person is our fan favorite. In fact, you pointed them out to me.
Of course I did.
I did some digging to figure out who it was.
Okay.
But they had something on Instagram that said, I survived the Facebook blackout.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then it said, like, that meme that was going around. But underneath, they wrote, by binge listening to My Skeptical Sisters.
Which I thought was the biggest compliment.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, that is, so they had already downloaded our episodes so that they could binge listen during the out. Yeah, that was so sweet.
I know, it was very cool. Although it wasn't like a power outage. So
yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know how this stuff works.
We're not on Facebook streaming.
Oh, well, shit, I don't know, Erin. How does it all work? I just thought the whole internet went out.
They were like, I'm bored. I'm going to go check out My Skeptical Sister. And
that's how they survived.
That's how they preoccupied their mind.
I love
instead of Facebook. Okay, so I figured out this is Shelly.
Oh, hi, Shelly. Okay, why do I keep seeing Shelly?
Because Shelly is newly active on our Facebook.
Lovely.
And they live in Louisville.
Oh, my gosh.
So I was like, oh, we must know them. And then I looked, no mutual friends.
Welcome, Shelly. And how did you hear about us?
I don't know.
Would love to know.
But I wrote out letting her know that we were going to pick them for our fan favorite. And they wrote, really? I did not expect that since I just started interacting with the group.
That's how we roll, Shelly.
Right?
You don't have to be too much. You just got to give a little.
Right? But I'm not upset about it. Wink. Thank you so much. And then they write, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is near and dear to my family. My aunt, who is only 2 months younger than me, yes, my mom and grandmother were pregnant at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And then big eye face emoji.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Right?
Appropriate use of that. Okay.
But her aunt died of cystic fibrosis 11 days before her 4th birthday.
Oh, wow.
If people were so inclined to donate, my family and I would truly appreciate it. Thank you, ladies, for all that you do by entertaining us with your witty banter and bringing awareness to the different causes of your listeners. You both have a servant's heart, and I find that lovely.
Oh,
Shelly.
Well, thank you, Shelly. I'm glad that shines through all of our sliding in the DM talk.
Right? So the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, you can go to that website at cff.org. And I let her know that we would be putting a small donation in honor of her aunt. That's
so important.
So important. And I know people in my life who've had cystic fibrosis. I used to work with some kids at my school, and then a friend of ours, Annie, I was personal care attendant for her in college. Yeah. And she'll love a shout out. Annie is like one of the funniest people I've ever met. And I was her personal care attendant, and she had on the back of her wheelchair, it said diva. And she's totally a diva. Totally a diva. I remember the first day on the job, she would run into the back of people's legs as we're in line. And they were like, oh, turn around and apologize to her. And I was like, Annie, after I figured out she was doing it on purpose, I'm like, what are you doing? She was like, what are they going to say? I was like, oh my gosh, Annie, you are so funny. But I was like, kind of true. She was hilarious. And she is totally hilarious.
Yes. And I'm sure would appreciate a shout out. So hi, Annie. And yeah, we'll definitely donate in honor of all of our friends and loved ones that have cystic fibrosis.
That's right. So thank you, Shelley, for bringing that up to our attention. And thank you for being a fan favorite.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. Give us a shout out here and there. We love it.
Yeah. Or, another good way is to leave a review.
Yes. Yeah.
We can't stress that enough. We need those reviews because it helps boost our numbers. It gets us out there. And we've been pretty stagnant. I mean, we've got a great amount of reviews for a new podcast, but it's been there since
I think
August.
The more reviews you get, the more they tie you to other podcasts and say like, this is recommended. If you like this,
right,
let's recommend this. So it definitely puts our name out there. So if you have Apple, please leave us a review.
Unless you don't like us.
Yeah,
if you're like, this is 3 stars best,
right,
then just
keep
don't
those
review.
thoughts to yourself.
You don't have to review.
Right. You can give us a 5-star and think that in your head.
That's right. You don't have to write anything. Just leave us 5 stars and move on.
Listen, I don't like them. I wish them the best.
There you go.
5-star. I'm moving on.
Yes. You can also write in your personal stories to My Skeptical Sister.
And we need them.
Yes. At gmail.com. Heather, we need those scary, surgical technician
Please.
stories.
I mean, and I keep thinking, we have so many nurse friends and people in the healthcare. They got to have stories.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that it's anything to do with truth.
And we've had a lot of people who will tell us their stories, which is great. But you know what? That's not how we do our podcast.
No, the whole part of it is storytelling. Yeah. But we want it to be told in your words. So we don't want to retell it because let me tell you, Aaron and I like to take a story and we'll make it our own real fast. So we would leave out details. We would add some things for emphasis.
Right. So if you have told us, like stopped us and told us a story or sent in, we've even had people send in voice messages.
Yeah.
They're wonderful. We're not going to tell those stories.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Because we've got to write them down.
Your story from your words sent in. So please send in those written stories from your perspective, with your humor, with your fright.
Inflection.
That's what makes it great.
Definitely. Yeah. Because I would embellish the shit out of stuff. I'm good at it. I love it. Like we said before, I'm a good bullshitter. So I don't want
that we're saying you're a bullshitter.
No, I'm a bullshitter.
Person writing in.
No, I'm saying I would take their story and all of a sudden it would be about something, what it would be really good. And all of a sudden we would go into a whole new realm of stuff. Right. So I need boundaries. I need structure. I need a written script to read. Otherwise there's no telling where I'd end up.
That's right. So please send in those stories at myskepticalsister@gmail.com, or you can go to our beautiful website at www.myskepticalsister.com and leave your stories there. And you can rate, review, subscribe. You can listen and tell your friends. You can follow us on socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting kind of close to our 1 year, girl.
We are getting really close.
Are you getting excited about this crab dinner?
No, I think I'm over it. I'm just kidding.
You literally almost stopped my heart. I was like,
it's all I think about, Megan.
Okay, thank God. I was like, wait. Because I swear, and that it's so funny how fast your brain can work. And those 2 seconds, I thought, I'm going with or without her. And I will record myself eating that fucking tower by myself.
No, I can't wait to get that tower.
Phew, thank goodness. You delivered that with such a straight face. I'm like, oh, what have we been working for this whole year? Okay, thank goodness. Phew.
Yeah, and guys, we're going to go after this year. We want 2 towers.
Yes.
Don't think we're going to stop talking about this tower once we get it.
Yeah. I mean, we might find a different tower somewhere else.
Maybe.
Like in Vegas.
Ooh.
We could we could go big. Face. We could go bigger. Like maybe we want to take a trip. We could scour at every state. What's the best seafood tower? That's its own podcast in itself right there.
It'd be a great podcast.
I would, if you would like to find us. If this whole ghost thing doesn't pan out.
I really don't like ghosts, but I do love seafood talk.
I love seafood talk.
I bet you there aren't a lot out there.
Probably aren't.
There are a lot of ghost podcasts.
Yes, there are, but seafood towers.
Seafood tower talk.
I think we might have found our niche. Oh, I love it.
Or just tower talk.
Tower talk. But it's all about seafood.
It's all about seafood.
Sounds riveting.
Oh my gosh. We got to end this.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Good night.
La 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 la.
And here we go again. Never know what to say. Like, what do you say right after that?
I don't know. I usually just look at you.
I know. You always put the pressure on me.
I know.
That's why you always start it off first, because you know it's like a pattern.
Right.
You're going to go, then I'm going to go, then you're going to go.
You've started out often.
Oh, brother.
You still always try to take over as soon as I'm done with the believer.
Because I cannot have dead silence.
It wouldn't be. You don't give me a chance.
Okay.
You never know. Okay. Do I have a kid in the hallway? Okay. You're not coming past here? Okay. Fast forward to the... Okay.
So he could move freely if he wanted to, but it really wasn't an issue, surprisingly. Huh.
Read that whole line again.
Okay. So he could move freely if he wanted to, but it really wasn't an issue, surprisingly. LOL. Good for her. One night...
You read it so fast. It's fine.
Okay, here.
But you read it
one more time. Say a doggy is nuttin' if he don't have a bone.
Yeah. Say a dog is nothing if he don't have a bone. La, 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 da, da.